Middle game of the Rough Riders series against the Arkansas Travelers, and today we're joined by Rough Riders catcher Patrick Cantwell, who had a key two-run double last night. You know, Patrick, you're a guy who's often looking to go the other way, but you were able to pull that double down the left field line. Take me through what you were trying to do in that at-bat against Arenas.
We faced him last week, and so we had a pretty good idea of what he was trying to do to us. Big two-seam guy, so I knew he was trying to come in. The first two pitches were in. So I was in a good hitter's count. You know, I was 1-1. I was looking for my pitch, and I was down and in. Luckily, I got the bat head out. I was able to keep it fair, and it turned out to be a big hit. So, you know, as long as I was able to help the team in that at-bat, it was a good at-bat.
Your first time up, you wore one, and this is certainly not the first time for you. In fact, it's the 9th time this season. Looking back over your career, you've gotten hit 12 times your first year, 8 times last year, 9 times this year. What is it about you being willing to wear one, more than one, for your team on a regular basis?
That kind of stuff doesn't bother me. Being a catcher, it kind of comes with the position, getting hit by foul balls and everything. So any way I can get on base, try and help the team out to win, steal second, maybe get to third and score on a sac fly or something like that, that's advantageous to us. So I'm really just looking to get on any way I can. I'm not going to, try and shy out of the way of getting hit by a pitch. It'll only hurt for a minute. So, that's just the way I go about it.
That leads me to the next question. Just why would a guy who takes so much punishment back there behind the plate, I guess one more bruise is not too much, right?
It's pretty much, yeah. They all kind of cluster together anyway. So it's just one of those things. In college, that's a big thing. Any way you can get on, and that's kind of carried over into my professional career. And guys make fun of me and rip on me for not getting out of the way. But you know what? Like I said, if I can get on and help the team score a run, then it was all worth it to me.
You take a look back at yourself, you probably see some pretty interesting bruises all over your body. That one's from a hit by pitch. That one's from a foul tip. That's one that I was crossed up with somebody out there on the mound. You must look like an oil painting with all the different colors of the bruises.
Yeah, I get them on my knees, on my thighs. The ones on my inner groin probably are the worst. Those ones probably hurt the most, probably get the darkest. I get a couple on my elbow here and then, some on my wrists, some on my forearms, but you know what, like I said, it's all part of the game, and it's nothing that any other catcher doesn't go through, so it's just it's part of the job for me.
You landed on the DL for a week because of a pitch that you were hit by on the wrist, and you're still sporting a tape job around that. How much does that affect you on throws and on swinging the bat? Does it affect you at all?
I'd like to say it doesn't, but some guys come in the game and their strengths are throwing pitches in the dirt, so I'm a little bit more careful with that. But at the plate, swinging and everything, I feel good. My throws feel good. It's not so much the movement of it. I have a good range of motion. Just if it gets hit on it, it's a little tender, so I try and put a pad on it. But it hasn't hindered me in any way since coming back from the DL.
Looking back over the last month or so of the season, you have seemed so much more comfortable both offensively and defensively, and I think you can see it statistically, but just by the eye test as well. Why do you think that is? Is there any one or two things that you were working on, either offensively or defensively, that led to this really steady improvement?
Honestly, I can't put my finger on one thing in specific. It's just going out and working hard every day. You get, get familiar with the pitchers in the bullpens and their flat grounds and stuff. You get more comfortable with that. And at the plate, it's just all about reps. You'll hear guys say it. Batting practice is important. I'm taking a much better batting practice, and that's given me the confidence to carry it over into the game. So, people say it's the little things that count, and for me, being able to do those things and see myself be successful in BP and feel myself be successful and catching well in the bullpens has really helped me carry it over into the games, especially not playing every day. So those things are real important for me.
We're here with Rough Riders catcher Patrick Cantwell. A couple of good pitching performances last night, notably Kyle Lotzgar, who looked as good as he has looked all season. What was the key for him as you were behind the plate watching him?
For him, it's just his fastball command. He has a heavy sinker, a lot of run on it. He's going to get guys to chase, but when it's in the zone, he's fine. It's when he starts to walk guys that he gets in trouble. But his last few starts have been lights out, have been stellar, and that's a tribute to him. He comes out here and he works his butt off every day. So just like me in batting practice, seeing the ball fly, he just needed to feel that ball coming out of his hand the right way. And ever since then, he's been spot on. He's been a great guy coming out of the bullpen for us. So as long as he keeps working hard, I don't see any downside to him.
Do you maybe grab the glove that has maybe a little extra padding when you see Kela come in? Saw him hit 98 a couple of times last night.
He's one of those guys that, I like to work with on his flat grounds just because he does throw so hard, and sometimes he's got some movement on it. So as familiar as I can get with him, on and off the field, I try to do it. So the glove doesn't really come into play. I try and catch everything in the same spot every time, but once in a while he'll hit you in the palm, and you'll look up at the radar gun and see 98, and that's another part of the job. So you just gotta bite your lip and keep on trying to keep them throwing strikes.
I want to talk to you a little bit about your time at Stony Brook. Just a phenomenal run in 2012 to the College World Series. Is that the most fun you've ever had playing baseball?
Yeah, that group of guys was so special. We just had a great bond, great camaraderie on the bench, everything. It was just one of those teams that you could come to the field excited about playing with every day, and we just had fun with it. And I wouldn't trade that for the world.
I remember watching that series against LSU in San Antonio at the restaurant there at the hotel with a lot of some of your current teammates, and just watching in amazement as to the game that you guys had against them, that extra inning game. And that was the game you lost. You went on to win the next two games, but that must have been just an incredible experience because you're in their house in front of all their fans, all wearing purple and yellow and screaming, and you guys win the last two games there to really shock the entire country and go on to the College World Series.
Yeah, that's just a testament to how our team was all year. Even in games, in midweek games that we had, that we had the upper hand on teams going into, and we fell behind. We never let it get to us. We would come back, we would win. We won a bunch of games that year coming from behind. We were just a never team that, was focused on trying to get things done right away. We knew that if we kept with our approach and we kept, pitching and playing defense, that things would fall into place. And that's exactly what happened in LSU. The fans in LSU, the atmosphere was amazing. They were all, after we had won, gracious and, polite, shaking our hands. It was an experience that I'll remember forever.
That was the same year that Ryan Bohr's Kent State team went to the College World Series. You guys probably didn't know each other at the time, but you talked about much when you guys were teammates?
Yeah, him and David Lyon during spring training, they were both on that Kent State team that made just as an improbable run as we did. They came together, and they have a great program there. Their coach is great. We talk and we laugh about it when we see guys here that we played in the College World Series, and that guy hit a home run when we were in Omaha or whatever. But those are just memories that'll last a lifetime. And whenever you see one of those guys from those teams, that's always the first thing we talk about.
You were drafted actually the year before that College World Series run by the Orioles, 39th round. Was that a difficult decision to decide to come back for your senior season or go into pro ball?
It was and it wasn't. My parents and, my family, my coaches, they were all supportive of whatever decision I made. And obviously for myself, it turned out to be the right decision. Some guys go back and they regret it, but I couldn't tell you 1 second that, that I ever regretted that decision. So for myself and my family and all my friends, it was the right decision at the time, and I'm happy with how everything's worked out.
Especially because of the College World Series run and the fact that you were drafted the very next year, way up in the third round. Were you surprised that you got taken that high, or did you have an idea that might be a possibility?
Honestly, I was completely shocked when I was taken that high. I was sitting in the hotel room right after LSU actually, and we had found out that that we had been drafted, and or I found out that I had been drafted. Travis Jankowski of San Antonio was drafted the night before. And, it was just kind of a culmination of, all the hard work and dedication that we put in. And we had a bunch of other guys drafted that year from that team. And, it was just great to see everybody's hard work pay off for them, in their different ways. And everybody's still playing and having fun. So, as long as you're still having fun with it, then there's nothing else that, you can ask for.
Well, it's good to see the hard work and dedication has paid off here on the field. By the way, the performance of yours has been over the last couple of weeks, and we hope to see it continue forward. Thanks so much for the time, Patrick.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Patrick Cantwell. We're back right after this here on the Frisco Rough Riders Baseball Network.